Hello everyone, my dear students, friends, well-wishers. Namaskar. In this video, I am going to explain you about inventory management. Basically, this is part of working capital management. In the working capital management is part of financial management. Basically, working capital management consists of cash management, inventory management and receivables management. In that, inventory management plays key role in working capital management. Today I am going to discuss about the introduction to the inventory management. What are the types of inventories available, what are the costs of inventories, and techniques of inventory management, and determination of stock levels. First and foremost, I would like to go for introduction to the inventory management. What do you mean by inventory? Inventory denotes stock of goods. Basically, inventory refers to stock of finished goods only. While in manufacturing concern, this may include work in progress, stores, raw material, etc. Inventories are assets of the firm and such they represent an investment. Such investment requires funds. Managers must ensure that the firm maintains inventories at the correct level. If they become too large, the firm loses the opportunity to employ those funds more effectively. Similarly, at the same time, if they are too small, the firm may lose sales too. So managing the level of inventories is like maintaining the level of water in a bathtub with a open drain. The water is flowing out continuously. If the water is let into too slow, the tub is soon empty. If the water is let in too fast, the tub overflows. The inventory management plays key role in the financial management, the two in working capital management. So, having said that, let me move on to the what are the types of inventories available, right? So, as I mentioned earlier, there are common types of inventories are most of the business firms may be classified as a finished goods, work in progress, and raw materials. Basically, inventory uh, called as a inventory refers to the stock of finished goods only, whereas manufacturing concerns it will also be include work in progress and raw material too. Right. First, what do you mean by finished goods? These are the goods either being purchased or being produced or being processed by the firm. These are just ready for sale to the customers. These are the finished goods arise because of the time involved in the production process. From conversion of raw material into finished goods, it will take some time. Once the finished goods, the goods need to meet the customer's demand promptly. If the firms don't maintain sufficient finished goods, the customers who are unwilling to wait may turn to the competitor's side. The main purpose of finished goods inventory is to bring smoothness in the production and sales function as well. What do you mean by work in progress? Basically, this is refers to the engaged various phases of the production schedule. Means the degree of competition may be varying for different units. So, some units might have just introduced, some others may 40% completed, some others may be 90% completed. The work in progress refers partially produced goods. The value of work in progress also includes the raw materials cost, direct wages cost, and direct expenses already incurred and the overheads. What do you mean by overhead? Overhead means indirect expenses, indirect material, indirect labor, if any. So, the quantity and the value of work in progress depends upon the length and complexity of the production cycle. Having said that, let me also move on to the raw material factor. It includes materials which are used in the production process. Every manufacturing firm has to carry certain stock of raw material in the stores. So these are regularly issued, transferred to the production department, and production department convert raw material into the finished goods. So inventories of raw materials are held to ensure smooth production process without interrupting the shortage of these materials. The requirement of the stock of raw material is based upon the many factors, which raw materials can, when raw materials can be ordered, and how much procure, what is the uncertainty in the supply of raw materials, everything. So the purpose is just to make the production and purchasing function independently. Having said that, let me move on to the what are the objectives of holding inventory. So the main motives for holding inventory are transaction motive, precautionary motive, speculative motive, and some other contractual agreements between buyer and seller. So, what do you mean by the transaction motive? So, every firm needs to maintain certain level of inventories to meet the daily requirements related to the production and sales. That is a transaction. Every business has a transaction of production as well as sales. In order to meet these requirements, a firm maintains an inventory of raw material and finished goods. So, maintaining of transaction motive makes the production process very smooth. Having said that, let me go for precautionary motive. See, a company may face raw material shortage on account of natural causes, strikes, labor problems, other unforeseen circumstances, and natural calamities. So, all these, such shortage of raw material may interrupt production process. So, in order to avoid such circumstances, a company needs to maintain proper inventory level. Then, the other motive of objective of holding inventory is speculative motive. A company may maintain inventory to grab various opportunities for making profit, to earn extra profit due to shortage. So, such as sudden increase in prices. Such motives are speculative in nature and may help the firm in earning extra profit. So, for that, they have to keep the holding inventory and some contractual agreements. If they are taking any contract with other person to maintain, to provide finished goods in such a time, then they have to keep the holding inventory for that contractual agreements. Right? These are the different objectives of holding inventory. What are the benefits of holding inventory? Basically, for trading concerns, without interrupting the sales process, and sometimes quantity discounts for manufacturing concerns, without interrupting the production schedule and independent sales activity. So then, having said that, let me move on to the costs of inventory. So different costs will be involved. The cost of holding inventory may include uh, carrying cost. In the, what do you mean by carrying cost? The cost incurred in keeping or maintaining an inventory of one unit of raw material or work in progress or finished goods. Again, the carrying cost has been having the two component, cost of storage and cost of financing. Cost of storage means, what is the cost of storage? You have to take rent for of space, salary of storekeeper, cost of infrastructure, cost of insurance, cost of pilferage, warehousing cost, handling cost, etc. What do you mean by cost of financing? So opportunity cost, interest, borrowings will be included in the cost of financing. Then, having said about the carrying cost, let me make it clear that what do you mean by ordering cost? This is the second cost of holding inventory. So the cost of ordering include the cost of acquisition of inventories, cost of preparation and execution of an order, how much cost you are incurred for executing an order, what is the cost of paperwork, cost of communicating with the supplier, what is the cost of inspection, checking, handling, salaries and wages of the purchase department? So the total annual ordering cost is equal to the cost per order and multiplication with the number of orders placed in the year. So the ordering cost may have a fixed component as well as variable. Fixed component is not affected by the order size, whereas variable component is affected by the order size. Transport and charges may be payable per unit, subject to the minimum charges per trip. So variable as well as fixed. Salaries to the purchase department and wages of the purchase department are fixed, whereas transportation charges, whenever you order, you are going to incur the transportation charges. These are the variable component. Having said that, the carrying cost and the ordering cost are the opposite forces, and collectively they determine the level of inventory. So finance man has to achieve trade-off between the carrying cost and the ordering cost. Then the other cost we are going to incur for holding the inventory is cost of stockouts. What do you mean by this? So this is the situation when the firm is not having units of an items in a store, but there is a demand for either more from the customers or production department. So cost of stockouts of finished goods, that is sometimes lost sales, cancellation of the orders, adverse effect to the goodwill, etc. So this stockout refers to the demand for an item whose inventory level is already reduced to the zero or insufficient level. Stockout doesn't appear if the item is not demanded, even if the inventory level has fallen to the zero. So these are the lost sales, cancellation of the orders. Means this is the hidden cost we can't see, we can't identify that. So this affects the adverse effect to the goodwill. So this is another cost where the of item in store, but there is a demand for that either from the customers or the production department. So these are the things, cost of stockouts. Then the cost of stockouts of raw material is the hurdle in the production process. Having said that, let me go for, if at a high levels of inventory, what is the benefits and what is the cost? Low levels of inventory, what is the benefits and what is the cost? See, let me make you clear about the high levels of inventory. You can happy the customer, and few production delays will be avoided always. So the cost, the cost benefit analysis, the cost is very expensive. Keep high levels of inventory is very expensive. High storage cost, risk of obsolescence, means when the technology changes, the total inventory will become obsolete. When it is a low levels of inventory, low storage cost is the benefit, and less risk of obsolescence. Whereas cost, shortage of inventory will hamper the production process as well as the sales process, and dissatisfied customers if low levels of inventory. So these are the main part of this inventory management is techniques. What are the different techniques of inventory management? So here the first and foremost technique is ABC analysis. So there are several techniques of inventory control which are available, and is left to the nature and each of the organization that which technique they adopts. An ideal inventory control technique should, however, cover all items and all stages of the inventory control, starting from these stage when the materials is received from the supplier till they are put to use. So I am going to explain you some of the most commonly used techniques in this. First and foremost is ABC analysis. What do you mean by this? So this is the technique exercising control, so, over selective inventory items. The technique is based on the assumption that the firm should not exercise the same degree of control on items which are more costly as compared to those with items which are less costly. So, for material control purpose, the material may be divided into different categories. So, in case of manufacturing concerns, it is observed that sometimes a small percentage of quantity of items comprises high value, and other times large quantity of material comprises of less value. So there may be exist some moderate situation where items are average in number and average value. So based upon this, the material may be classified into category A, category B, and category C. So category A, so the total quantity might be small, but the value is very high. See, 70% of total value will contain 20% of quantity. So I am going to give importance to the value of the items. So those items are having more value. So in category A includes items which are about 70% of the value and only 10% of the quantity, whereas B 25 35, whereas C 70 10. Means these are the different quantities available, but the the total value is very high. So inventory service in general, percentages may vary a bit depending on the nature of the organization. So what exactly the ABC analysis represents here? I'm going to give you a small example. The consumption, annual consumption is first item is 6,000 consumption units total. The percentage 6% out of the total 100. The rupees 100 rupees per unit. So 6 lakhs. So like that, 10,000, 4, 15, 25, 10. The percentage 10, 5 total units is there. But I am talking about the total value here. The total value is 6 lakhs 50,000, even though it contains only 10%. Here 25% contains, but the only 50,000 value. So what I am trying to telling you here is, I am going to give you which are items are having more value. So those items are having more value. So I am putting it in the A category. Those which are green. So here the total value is this much. So 82%, 90% value. So the percentage 15% and 25%. So I am putting those category which are having high value is under green, blue. So based on that, I am going to give you in this. So A, B, C, which are having high value. So A is red and B is green and C is blue, which are having high value, make it under the this category. So the second analysis, that is a VED analysis. Usually this is meant for spare parts. The requirements and urgency of spare parts are different from that of the material. So here V means vital, E means essential, D means desirable. The items are classified on the basis of their criticality to the production process or other services. Under the system of this classification, uh, vital are those items which without which the production process cannot be completed. They are very significant. While essential items are those whose shortage may be in inefficient production system, whereas the efficiency may be temporary in nature. Desirable items, those items which are required but won't result in the loss of production. Again, I'm going to tell you. So if I take the vital, these spare parts must be stored adequately because these are needed for smooth running of the business. Whereas essential spare also necessary, but their stock must be kept in low figure. Desirable, the stocking of desirable type of spares may be avoided at times if the lead time of these spares is less than stocking of these spares can be avoided. So here desirable in the sense, items are those items which are required, but it won't result in the loss of production. This is what you call VED analysis. Then third analysis is SDE. What do you mean by this? S means scarce items, D means difficult items, and E means easy items. So this analysis evaluates the importance of inventory items on the basis of their availability. Sometimes it is scarce, so you have to the items which are in the short supply, and mostly such items constitutes imported items. So difficult, this category refers to such items which cannot be procured easily. We have to get it in a very difficult time. We take a difficult items. Easy, that items which are easily available in the market. Depend on that, you need to take the inventory items on the basis of their availability. Having said that, the one more important concept in the inventory management technique is EOQ, economic order quantity. So what do you mean by this? Ordering cost and carrying cost are taken into consideration while determining the economic order quantity. The total inventory cost is equal to the total carrying cost plus total ordering cost. There are some assumptions. The supply is available in the market and goods can be procured as and when required. And another assumption is there is no lead time, means no time gap between placing an order and getting a supply. The quantity to be procured is pre-decided. and the prices of goods are constant. So these are the different assumptions while applying for the economic order quantity model. So the third one is a cost of per order of an item is constant, and there are only two costs related to inventory, that is ordering cost and carrying cost. No other cost is involved while calculating economic order quantity. So here, on the base of the following assumptions, we have decided that this is called the 2AO by C. The root is applicable to both 2AO by C. A is annual consumption quantity used in units. O means ordering cost. C means carrying cost for an annual. So here we are talking these ordering cost and carrying cost are taking into the consideration while calculating the EOQ model. So these are the different inventory cost and the EOQ. This is the total cost, and this is the carrying cost, and this is the ordering cost. So so having said that, let me move on to the another technique, that is a just in time inventory. So what do you mean by this? So just in time approach, this the production is defined as philosophy that focus attention on eliminating waste, minimize the waste by purchasing or manufacturing just enough of the right times just in time. So it is a modern approach in inventory management. The goal is essential to minimize such inventories and thereby maximizing the turnover. So the firm keeps only enough inventory on hand to meet immediate production needs. The just-in-time system significantly reduce the carrying cost by reducing requiring the raw material be produced just in time to be placed into the production. So this is also known as a pull approach, totally reverse to the traditional push approach. So just in time, again I'm going to tell you, it is a Japanese management philosophy of manufacturing, according to which only the right quantity is purchased at the right time and the right place. JIT has also been called as a hand to mouth approach. So the production by some of the observers. This is the hand to mouth approach. The main aim is to avoid any surpluses and fitting a precise requirement in the precise time. So just in time, as and when you require, you can purchase the inventory. So don't keep much inventory with you and unnecessarily wastage of time, cost. So just in time is a Japanese inventory management technique. Having said that, let me move on to the some of the what exactly the inventory system. So exactly right time and right quantity you need to purchase, eliminates need for the factory inventory, shortens the operating cycle, reduce the cost, eliminate wasteful procedure. But late delivery can stop factory's entire production line sometimes, not always. So works best with large manufacturer who are powerful with respect to the supplier. So supplier has to supply immediately. So, what are the requirements we need to keep as far as the just-in-time inventory concerned? The company must have only few suppliers. Supplier must be bound under long-term contracts and willing to make frequent deliveries in small lots. Must develop total quality system, and poor quality of goods or parts cannot be accepted because this is just in time with no work in progress inventory. Workers must be multi skilled in just in time. So what are the benefits? The benefits is reduced, so wastage can minimized, and minimize the carrying cost. Storage cost will also be minimized. And the other thing is 2QC, total quality system results in production quality control. Total quality control results in the production as well as quality products. So productivity of workers is increased, machine setup time is decreased. And what are the see the other part I would like to mention here is a determination of the stock levels. Here the determination of the stock levels is the excess and shortage materials are always harmful for the firm. So, how much we need to keep inventory in our organization? The first is minimum level of inventory. So, this represents the quantity which must be maintained at all times. So, how you have to decide in this? So, depend on that the the some of the items they have to consider what is the lead time, rate of consumption, nature of materials, etc. So here minimum level is equal to the reorder level minus normal consumption into normal reorder period. So you have to keep minimum level of inventory at always in all times with the organization and with the company without hampering the production and sales. What is the reordering level? So the quantity of material reaches at certain figure, then fresh order is sent to the get materials again. So reordering level is equal to the maximum consumption into the maximum reorder period. So reordering level is a fixed between minimum level and maximum level. The other one is maximum level of inventory. You can't keep more than this because it will be unnecessarily incurring is of carrying cost and storage cost. So it is a quantity beyond which a firm should not exceed its stock. Otherwise, there will be overstocking. It depends upon the some of the factors like availability of capital, the maximum requirement at any point of time, availability of space, and rate of consumption, and the cost of maintaining the stores. So and the possibility of fluctuation prices, and so you have to keep maximum level of inventories depending on the nature of the material, restrictions imposed by the government. The formula is reorder leveling plus reordering quantity minus minimum consumption into minimum reordering period. The last one, danger level. So it is beyond which material should not fall in any case. If the danger level arises, immediate steps should be taken to replenish the stock even if more cost is incurred in arranging the materials. If the materials are not arranged immediately, there is a possibility of stoppage of work. So danger level means average consumption into maximum reorder period for emergency purchase. Then average stock level, there are two formulas are available here: minimum stock level plus half of the reorder quantity, or minimum stock level plus maximum stock level by 2. So these are the different uh, determination of stock levels. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you for your support, and thank you for your encouragement. Thank you, one and all.